Hello and welcome back to another episode of the DIYguy.net. Alright, today we're going to show you how to re-drill your Subaru hubs. We got a rear here and a front for this older Subaru. It's the 4x140 bolt pattern right now. We're going to re-drill it to be the 6-lug 5x5. Now what that's going to allow us to do is find a 15 or 16 inch rim off a Toyota, older Chevy or Nissan or Mitsubishi. That way we can upgrade to a 15 or 16 inch wheel diameter. That way we can easily find off-road tires for this lifted Subaru. Alright, to start this project, you want to get some penetrating oil. I sprayed these wheel studs last night. We want to spray the opposing wheel studs on each hub. I marked them out in the orange. So these two are the ones we're going to remove on this hub, and these two are the ones we're going to remove on this hub. And since I sprayed it and let it soak in overnight, hopefully the wheel studs will come out a little easier. Alright, so next we're going to grab a lug nut. We'll thread it onto the stud we're removing. I'm going to use one I've already hammered and made flat. So I'll thread that on to the wheel stud we're removing. Alright, now that we got the lug nut threaded on the stud we're going to remove, we'll grab a large hammer, we'll hang it off the edge of the vise, and we'll give it a few taps and pop it out. Sometimes they do come out as easy as that. So we'll remove that wheel stud. Alright, now that we got that wheel stud removed, we'll rotate it around to the opposing wheel stud, the other one we marked in orange. We'll thread the lug nut on there and repeat the process to remove that wheel stud. Alright, so we'll do the same thing to the rear hub. We'll thread the lug nut on. This one's a little easier because it's nice and flat, so you can just set it on a nice flat surface and hammer it out. We'll thread it onto the opposing wheel stud and remove that one. Alright, now that we finished knocking out the opposing wheel studs on the front and back hub, we'll go ahead and grab our 6-lug rim that we're going to use as a template. We'll grab our hub, we'll slide it through, and put the lug nuts on, the two wheel studs that are. Now we'll tighten these down in a crisscross pattern so it'll center the hub in the wheel. Alright, now that we have those two wheel studs snug down, we'll lay the tire and rim flat. Alright, so we have our two lug nuts that we have remaining snug down. So the hub is centered in the wheel. We'll grab a 9/16 center punch. What this punch allows you to do is slide it in the hole, hold it straight up and down, give it a few taps with the hammer. And what that does is put a mark directly in the center of the lug hole. That way we have a pilot hole or a pilot spot to start drilling. And we know it's centered and all the lugs will line up when we're done. So we'll do the remaining three. Alright, now that we have them all center punched and we know where they are, I like to take a permanent marker, just put a dot or circle the hole where the punch is, just so you can see it. It's kind of hard sometimes when they're rusted. Alright, now that we got the front hub done, we bolted in the rear hub. We'll do the same thing. Line it up with the center punch, hold it straight up and down, give it a tap. I'll also take the magic marker, kind of give it a little dot around it so we know where they are, making them easier to see. We came over here and mounted it in our drill press. Drill press is much better for this step, so you know you're drilling straight. You can use a power tool drill. Just make sure you're straight up and down so you drill straight. If you don't, your wheel stud will come out on whatever angle you drilled it on, making it hard to bolt the wheel on. So recommended to use a drill press for this step. We're going to start with a 1/4-inch bit to drill the first 4 holes. Alright, so we'll start drilling. Put a couple dabs of the cutting oil on. Apply firm, even pressure. Till we drill through. Alright, now that we finished drilling the 4 holes with our 1/4-inch bit, we'll go ahead and step it up to our 3/8 bit and re-drill all the holes just as we just did. So we finished drilling our 4 holes with our 3/8 bit. We just replaced it with our 9/16. We're going to drill them the one last time, so there'll be 9/16 for our final, so the wheel studs will fit. Alright, so we finished drilling this hub with our 9/16 bit, all 4 holes. We'll go ahead and clean it up. So we got it all cleaned up, all the metal chips out. As you can see, this is our factory hole, top and bottom. We drilled our 2 new ones on each side, putting 3 down here and 3 up there to make it a 6 lug. You notice when you flip it over and stick your wheel stud in, that it's not going to sit flush because of this tapered edge right here. So you're going to need to take an angle grinder and grind it flat so it'll sit flat in the hub just like the factory wheel stud. So to grind down the material, we just took our angle grinder. As you can see, we ground it down, remove some of that metal, make it flat so the wheel stud will sit in there. We also took the wheel stud, ground down one edge to make sure those 2 flat surfaces will line up when we pull it in. To do that, I just used a lug nut, put it in the vise, clamped it down, threaded in the wheel stud, and then ground down one edge. Now that we've finished beveling or making flat our hub and cutting the wheel studs, we're going to go ahead and slide the hub into the wheel. We're going to tighten down our 2 stock lug nuts first, then place our other studs in and tighten those down. Now that we have our other factory lug nuts snug down and tight, we'll install the other 4. We'll run them down finger tight. Now that we have all the wheel studs and lug nuts on and hand tight, we'll go ahead and take our 19mm and our ratchet. We'll tighten them down in a crisscross pattern to pull in the wheel studs. So we tightened all the lug nuts and drew in all the wheel studs. Since I have access to a welder, I'm going to put a little tack weld on each stud just to make sure it doesn't move. So here's what your finished product will look like. This is the back of the front hub, just showing you that we tack welded in the 4 new studs. We did the same on the rear. That's what they'll look like. So this is a way to convert your older Subaru 4x140 lug pattern to a newer 6 lug 5x5, so you can run some different rims and wheels. These are pretty much done. All I'm going to do is take them over, hit them with the sandblaster, give them a fresh coat of paint. Thanks for watching another episode of the DIYguy.net. If you just finished building you the subscribe button, click that to get the latest DIY fixes delivered right to you. If you just finished building you the What's Next button, you can click that and we'll help you figure out what you want to fix next. You can also click the link in the description which will take you to our website for a full write-up.